in the know, nonstop Vikings talk. It's Purple Daily on Score North and ScoreNorth.com. Purple Daily, presented by Surly Brewing Company.
Have you gotten any feel for how much you might play on Saturday?
Haven't discussed it. It's usually something we're told day before at the earliest, maybe day of. So I've learned through my years to just plan on playing, a good amount and do your homework and be ready to go. And whether you play, a few series, the whole half into the third quarter, you want to be ready to go and have put a good product on the field, whatever the number of snaps are.
Happy birthday to Kirk. Happy birthday to Kirk. Happy birthday to Kirky boy. Happy birthday to Kirk. 33 years old today. The Viking starting quarterback, Mr. Game-winning drive, the Dagger Doctor, the fourth quarter pharaoh, the late game luminary, the colossus of clutch himself, the deficit demolisher, Kirky McClutcherton.
You
33 years old today. Pay your respects.
You continuing to troll the Kirk stand.
I'm not trolling.
So upsetting to me. There's such lack of sincerity from the rest of this screen beyond me. A guy that sincerely thinks
insincere Judd would know one.
That thinks this guy. I think this guy is fantastic. Great addition. Been great since 2018. I'm just happy to have him in the Viking family.
Well, it is Kirk's birthday, and today is a Purple Positivity Thursday on Purple Daily, presented by Surly Brewing Company from the TCL studios. Enjoy more of what you love with TCL. This is daily Vikings entertainment, and damn it, we want titles, all right? That's all we want. We just want the Vikings to win a championship before we all die. And so if you ever think we're being hard on the Vikings, it's all from a tough love standpoint. And today is all about Purple Positivity, Judd's camp observations, and I got a random Viking of the week for you guys when we get around to it.
Love it.
But why don't let's start out with Judd Zolgad. Give us a ray of hope, a ray of light on this Purple Positivity Thursday.
Okay, I'm actually going to take what's going to be one of my camp notes, and I'm going to transition it into
what a pro.
The return of Purple Positivity Thursday.
Is this an audible right now?
It's a slight. You know what? It's more of a check. It's more of a check with me. Because I'm not changing the play fully. It was in my script. I'm just saying check with me. I'm getting to the line of scrimmage. Blue 80. And now you got to check with me. Purple Positivity Thursday revolves around a guy that wears number 18. Little JJ for you, Justin Jefferson. So we all know that this guy proved himself. Outstanding receiver, a huge threat down the field, really could establish himself for a long time as a special player in this league. And I've been predicting, I think by the end of 2021, I think he is going to be a top 5 receiver. That's pretty high praise in the entire league.
Yeah.
But you know what? I didn't know about him until I attended, I think I've been at every practice but a couple during the course of training camp. I didn't realize that JJ not only has golden hands to catch the ball, but he's got a hell of an arm to throw the ball. And after practice every day, he goes and plays catch. I would almost call it a form at times of long toss, like a baseball pitcher does. With like
is he doing it for himself or like helping one of the backup quarterbacks?
No, well, at first he's helping a backup quarterback, but then he'll stick around. Like yesterday, he stuck around with someone from the team who wasn't a player. I don't know if it was a coach or an equipment guy. No, it wasn't.
It was Declan.
It wasn't you.
I couldn't catch the ball.
Declan needed 6 other people to do a chain link to get the ball back.
It was a relay.
You make Cam Dantzler look fat, Deck, so I can confirm it wasn't you. But he plays essentially long toss and catch, and he's got a nice arm. First of all, he can throw a deep ball. Second of all, it's a pretty football. And so I'm thinking to myself, there is absolutely no reason why the last guy I recall with the Vikings the receiver that could throw a pass like this was Sidney Rice, who threw a beautiful football. I think Justin Jefferson has some comparables there as far as throwing. He's obviously a superior player when it comes to catching the ball. But my positivity is this. I think that there's some plays here, not a lot, but who cares if they work. I think there's some plays here, one or two, as surprises. Justin Jefferson gets to throw the wide receiver pass. And you know what? Adam Thielen, possibly. KJ Osborne. They can catch that ball.
Osborne?
Who are
the
Spurgeon.
Who are the greatest non-quarterback throwers of the football that you can remember in Vikings? Randy Moss.
Randy Moss. But he was athletically, he was such a freak. And by the way, to be clear, I think Jefferson has the attributes. Like, he's a freak too. Like, he's not just he's really good at this one thing. My guess is Justin Jefferson can probably, if you put him back to return kicks, which you wouldn't do, but you could, I think he could do that. And if you guys remember, it was a Sunday night game in Kansas City years and years ago, or probably early 2000s, when the Vikings did exactly that with Moss. And did he return it for a touchdown? The point being is I see the athletic freakishness of Moss somewhat in Jefferson too. And if you're going to open up the offense a bit, right? Razzle dazzle, little surprise, purple positivity, look for a Justin Jefferson throw this season. And I like it.
I like it. All right, Declan, what's your purple positivity item today?
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to go off a cusp a little bit here, and I'm going to say we finally, I think, have a punt returner that will return the punt and not just catch it and not move or muff the punt, and that's Dede Westbrook. I think we actually have something here in a punt return specialist in Dede Westbrook. What do the Vikings have? All of like 48 yards in 17 games or something in punt return yards last season. It was bad. Looks like Dede Westbrook is actually working on this, and I know he's been getting slowly up to speed as he recovers from his injury, so it's been a slow burn. But this might be the perfect little fit for him to find his way, not just on the Vikings offense, obviously, because he's on special teams, but how he can impact the Vikings. And I'm going to go with some purple positivity that we actually might have a legit threat at punt returner. And Marcus Sherrills was a very good punt returner for the Vikings. But ever since Sherrills has left, there's been a void there. So I'm going to go with a punt returner in Dede Westbrook, and hopefully we'll see a punt return for a touchdown this year.
What is the latest on him from your observations, Judd?
It looked like yesterday he did more from a return phase standpoint. They were in pads yesterday, and I believe he was as well. But as far as wide receiver work, I still have not seen anything substantial. Now, to be fair, Justin Jefferson, I think, has basically taken part in about one drill since he got hurt as well. So I'm not saying that he's not going to start the season in the case of Westbrook, but I still think there's a little ways to go. But Declan's on to something as far as he is 1,000% going to get that chance. And we all know that there's three types of guys that return punts. One, the guys that can do it. Two, Bobby Wade, which is, oh my God, I'll just fair catch everything. And the
ball wasn't snapped yet, and he's just fair catching.
But the third guy is the most dangerous because he's the buddy who thinks he's smart and is actually dumb. So he's like, I can return punts. I got this one. Oh, what happened to the football? I fumbled it. And that's what we saw a little bit of last year, and you don't want that guy.
So how about this? I'm going to give you guys a statistical deep dive here when it comes to punt returning to Declan's Dede Westbrook take here. So last year, the Vikings allowed opponents 10 yards per punt return. They themselves averaged 4 yards per punt return. And now you're only talking about one or two actual punt returns a game. It's not like you have 10 a game, right? But that could be like 5 or 10 extra yards, or if it's a day where someone breaks a 30-yarder. The Vikings never had that. Like the Vikings' long punt return last year was 13 yards. Chad Beebe had a 13-yard punt return. That was the longest. The longest punt return they had was 13 yards. Dede Westbrook in 2018 with Jacksonville averaged 14 yards per return. So the Vikings' longest one was 13 last year. Dede Westbrook averaged 14. Coming off an injury for his career, by the way, he's averaging 10. So his career average is more than double what the Vikings averaged last year. So, I mean, I'm with Dex on this. If he can just be healthy, ramp this thing up the next 3 weeks, he should provide a huge boost. And if you can run one or two back, even better.
You're getting greedy now.
Even better.
Run 5 back.
Not 5, not 6.
Average 15 yards per return.
All right, boys. My purple positivity might surprise you. Everyone thinks I'm being hard on Kirk because I took a little shot at his leadership, just a little fun little shot yesterday on Twitter. It turned into a huge brawl. But my purple positivity Actually, I mean, people get so sensitive, man. Like,
yeah, but you know what's coming too. So
I know it's coming, but people just freak out. Why are you're just so obsessed with? I had a guy yesterday. Some guy accused me of being obsessed with Kirk Cousins. All right, and his his handle is Kirk's 2021 MVP tour. You like that MVP? I mean, we're just having some fun, okay? But my purple positivity is about Kirk Cousins. I got 2 words for you, boys. Play action.
Oh.
Okay? You haven't seen much of it yet because not those 2 words.
Okay.
For late 90s wrestling fans. The Vikings might not even put Kirk Cousins out there in a preseason game, so we're not going to see it. But the Vikings offense is great at play action, and Kirk Cousins is great at play action. In fact, last year on play action passes, the 5 best passer ratings were Aaron Rodgers, Deshaun Watson, Jalen Hurts actually was really good on play action, Tom Brady, and Kirk Cousins, just ahead of Baker Mayfield. Kirk had a 122.3 passer rating on those play action passes last year, had a bunch of touchdowns. So if they can continue to pound play action and play to Kirk's strengths, I think you're going to see some special things from this offense. The fake handoff pharaoh, the doctor of deception, the purveyor of play action himself, Kirk Cousins.
I'm sure the Kirk stands now are like, oh, we forgive Phil Mackey.
Listen, it is possible to have some nuance here, okay? Like, I can criticize his leadership and his lack of late game ability, and I can praise the fact that he's really good in play action.
Yes, he's very good in play action.
Here's part of the problem, actually, if you want to, not to go away from purple positivity. When he struggles later in games, when the Vikings are trailing late in games, we've gone over those stats, right?
Yeah.
You're like the opposing team knows you're not running, and so now it's just they're teeing off on you. You're not very mobile, and your offensive line is getting bowled over. So those are the areas where they got to step up their game. But play action, that's going to be potentially a gem again for the Vikings this year. So yeah, those are the purple positivity.
I like the fact you found.
You guys think I'm just being sarcastic with Kirk? I can praise Kirk and criticize. It is possible to do both.
No, okay? I'm just backing up. So when the Kirk stands come to attack you, I'm not
correct.
I don't get hit by the shrapnel, and so is Declan.
Well, speaking of protection, okay, Federated Mutual Insurance Company has been providing risk management tools and protection for business owners since the beginning of time, like the beginning of the 1900s, 1904. And if you stop by their website, federatedinsurance.com, you'll find a full list of industries they protect, and you'll find out more information about the resources they can provide to your business. So, again, federatedinsurance.com. And remember, at Federated, it's our business to protect yours. Once that preseason game is over, what are you gonna find in your refrigerator there, Judd Zolgad?
Oh,
what are you gonna crack open?
Let's see here. What am I gonna crack open? Let me look to my right here. Oh, look what it's Miracle of Miracles.
Oh, wow,
a Surly Furious IPA just happens to be sitting right to my right.
By God, that's Surly Furious's music.
What the hell's he doing here?
In fact, you know what? Happy birthday, Kirk. I'd like to hand this to you right now. So you take it through the screen and enjoy 1 or 2. I don't really care. Furious IPAs, because you're right. Post game, that's what I will be enjoying on Saturday. And let's cut to the chase. I'll also be enjoying it on Friday, and I enjoyed a few last night as well.
Saturday.
Okay.
So I want to see Kirk crack a beer like David Bakhtiari and just pour it down his gullet. I just want to see that.
They try, and QBs have tried that, right?
Yeah, Brady can do it.
All right. So Surly Furious, Minnesota's favorite IPA, first of all, because you do, when it comes to the Vikings, in fact, this is perfect. You do enough settling in life. Crack open a Surly Furious and enjoy the IPA that revolutionized Minnesota craft beer. Don't settle, get surly, and expect titles.
Love it.
I was at the tap room yesterday. Had a nice rosé. It was a nice hot day. They have a great rosé beer there. It's a great one.
Love it.
So Judd has been observing and documenting and even probing in some cases at Vikings practice.
A lot of probing going on.
You're asking a lot of probing questions.
Okay. I was going to say,
Zimmer and Kirk Cousins.
Let's be clear when we use the word probing.
Let's go through some Judd Zolgad camp observations here from the last couple of days. What do you got for us?
All right. I'd actually like to start off with something that Mark Craig and Star Tribune wrote about today and asked Kirk extensively about in his press conference yesterday, because it's an important thing. And I found his answer to be, if not enlightening, certainly intriguing. Off-schedule plays, because we've always talked about that, right? Like the Mahomeses of the world off schedule, they're like, bring it on. This is awesome. I'm going to improvise, or I'm going to run. I think that we hope eventually Kellen Mond can embrace off schedule plays. Mm-hmm. Kirk, I would not say has always embraced them. He has made some. So I'm not trying to say he's awful at it, but I think it's sort of been hit and miss with Kirk. And Kirk said, even at the football advanced age of what, 32 today? Is that
30,
correct?
33, right? I think it's 33.
33. Okay.
I'll verify real quick.
Okay. At the advanced age of 33, he is still working on that and learning and trying to
33.
Okay. Trying to understand when he should and shouldn't basically take off or accept the fact that off schedule is going to happen. So he needs to embrace it. And I find it really intriguing because, I mean, that is the one thing lots of times, right? When plays break down, where Kirk is like, oh my God, it's not perfect. Now what? The pocket's gone. Now what? And it's a combination, to be clear, in my opinion, it's a combination of things. One is he doesn't have the God-given ability that a guy like Brady has to feel pressure, because I mean, they're both not fast guys. But the best
Kirk's
QBs,
more mobile than Brady.
Absolutely is. But my point is, there are guys that play this position that can feel pressure from the blind side as well, and they're just great at shuffling. So it's not like I'm going to go scramble. It's like, no, here's the pocket right now. Here's where the pocket's going to be in 2 seconds, so I'm there. Kirk doesn't have that ability. And to what you just said, Phil, and it's true, Kirk Cousins, if he takes off, can actually get yardage. The question is, does he know when to take off? And the answer at times is absolutely not. So if Kirk Cousins can truly continue to learn and process through, okay, the situation stinks right now. My new right guard screwed up, or Rashad Hill just got beaten. I can feel the heat coming from my backside.
Yeah.
If he can somehow embrace that and improve, I'm not saying become perfect, but improve. Think about the potential extra yardage, the potential first downs, and the potential for plays that exist if he doesn't get hit and potentially fumble the football.
So you have actually just pulled your car up to the most important Vikings intersection, and the one that people are honking and yelling at each other the most. And the statistics will prove this. So last season, according to Pro Football Focus, Kirk Cousins, when kept clean in the pocket, had the second highest passer rating in the NFL, behind only Aaron Rodgers. And if you want to go off PFF grade, so they graded a little bit differently, but when he was kept clean, Kirk had the 10th best PFF grade when kept clean in the pocket. So again, when he's got time and the offensive line holds, and people over-exaggerate a little. I mean, the Vikings have a bad offensive line, but people make it sound like every single play. I mean, he's still, even with a bad offensive line, it's still clean like at least half the time. So let's not go too far overboard and over-exaggerating. But when it's clean, he's really, really good. When it's not clean, when he's under pressure, all right, last season, his passer rating was 72, which is 16th in the NFL. It's right in the mix there with like Derek Carr, Nick Foles. And his PFF grade when under pressure was even worse than that. Actually, it was about the same. It was exactly the same. So he goes from being literally, like when kept clean, he's just a dart-throwing accuracy machine. He's finding guys, like he's super comfortable. He's great. When he's under pressure, things go haywire. And that's where the blame game starts. Well, you can't blame Kirk for that. Fix the offensive line. Well, right. Yes, that would be amazing. But you're not always going to have perfect circumstances. The guys who are the best under pressure, according to Pro Football Focus, Pat Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson, Russell Wilson, those guys can all run and escape, and they're creative. They can go off schedule, right? When the offensive line melts down, those guys can still turn something into a 40-yard pass down the field. So you could blame the offensive line, which is probably the first thing you would look at. Why don't you keep him clean more often, and you'll get the better performance. But it's not always realistic to have a perfect offensive line. And in today's NFL, with so many more mobile quarterbacks, you're just at such a disadvantage if you can't scoot your way out of the pocket like Justin Herbert, Pat Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson, Russell Wilson. The best thing the Vikings can do, they can't just ask Kirk, be more like Lamar Jackson. That's not physically possible. But that's why it's been so puzzling. Why? Like, they know this. When he's clean, he's amazing. So why are you going to roll the dice with rookies and backups along your offensive line? Like, why do you keep pumping money into your defense? And that's like, but this intersection is where everyone honks at each other and fights and argues.
Yeah.
Like, when the pocket's not clean, whose fault is it? What do they need to do? And a yelling match ensues among Vikingsville.
Spielman just got T-boned by Zim. That's the problem. Hey, you stupid! You ran the light. No, it was yellow. You
and Garrett Bradbury tried to prevent a car from coming into the intersection, but he got trucked over.
And now he's laying down on the side. So I love this, and I think we need to present it this way, because I think we think, and I do at times. Okay, the best QBs, when a play breaks down and they have to improvise, get huge yards, right? Like a 40-yard pass. But let's just let's just take this down to what's positive and what's not. And so, like, you can't ask Kirk, well, if you scramble, you just make big plays then, right? Because sometimes he certainly can, but it's not going to be consistent. But the most negative thing about Kirk's lack of awareness in the pocket, and I think that's a very fair term. I don't think that is being unfair to Kirk. The most negative thing is taking a sack, or worse than that, his tendency to fumble at times. So let's just take plays that break down, and let's almost accept the fact that because he doesn't have that GPS in his brain, that he's not going to shuffle like you would like him to. Ideally, he could, because I mean, we're talking about moving probably just a foot. Like we're not.
Brady's amazing at it. Brady will just like move one step
so you're
up
not
and
taking
over.
off, right? So what's the most realistic option for Kirk? And I think it is to get to a point where you say, Kirk, if it's not going to be a clean pocket and it's breaking down, and you have to have just sort of a sense of, okay, this is going wrong, that he does have the ability to take off. And let's say he gains 2 yards.
Yeah.
Well, but that beats being sacked for an 8-yard loss, and it sure as hell beats being sacked for an 8-yard loss, fumbling, and now it's a quick change for the opposing team. So I think that's where the teaching should come in, which is not, okay, Kirk, you need to shuffle and then throw it down the field to Jefferson and we're going to get 50 yards. Okay, no. Let's just say you gain 3 yards instead of a catastrophic play. I guess that's my question is, can you get Kirk to that point?
Yeah. Now, to me, like, yeah, there's definitely things that he can be better about sensing pressure, and he can stop. Like, he had a stretch where he fumbled more than a lot of quarterbacks for years, right? But when you run Dakota Dozier and Drew Samia out there, it's a weak link unit, and they're just not. When you run out the worst offensive lineman in the NFL, you just give yourself no chance with a non-mobile quarterback, especially late in games where teams are teeing off and they know you're not going to hand off to Dalvin Cook. So I think the biggest hope for the Vikings passing game this year is that Oli Udoh is an average right guard. Doesn't need to be special. Just don't be Dakota Dozier. If you can get, and if Garrett Bradbury can be closer to average in pass protection, right? Average across the board along your offensive line is going to make a huge difference. And it'll give you more clean pockets. It'll give you more play action opportunities. And it'll probably give Mike Zimmer a little bit more confidence to greenlight throwing the ball more often, which can increase the upside of the Vikings offense. So we'll see. It's amazing how so much of this season's success is going to hinge on Oli Udoh and I would even say Christian Darrisaw once he's healthy enough to come back.
And Rashad Hill at first, Phil.
But like with a non-mobile quarterback, interior pressure is complete checkmate. Like there's nothing you can do.
Yep.
There's nothing. Think about how many times it's like, oh my God, Bradbury is just there. He's in your face. There's nothing you can do. The play is blown up.
And it's potentially worst case because it's two things. It's interior pressure. And by the way, we are assuming Bradbury and Cleveland are going to be okay, and we don't know that for a fact.
I trust Cleveland more than Bradbury right now, actually.
And the Bradbury assumption, though, but I'm just saying, like Garrett Bradbury has yet to prove he can adequately pass protect. And you're not putting a big time guard by him to help him. So that's a huge concern. And then blindside pressure for as long as Rashad Hill has to start. And Darisaw, when Darisaw steps in finally, I mean, he has no practice time right now. So this is going to be a work in progress here.
Yeah.
There very well could be a conversation by about week 4, probably, that the Riley Reef decision to try to get him to take, I think, a second pay cut was a huge blunder, because you know what? The Riley Reef of 2019, good riddance. It's fine.
Well, who would you, because you go ahead.
Oh, but I was going to say, but the Riley Reef of 2020, as your PFF stats prove, our PFF stats,
he's above average.
Was above average, and pretty damn good.
But who would you, and maybe this is a conversation for another day, but like, you'd have to, because he would still have to make like $10 million. So you would have had to say goodbye to Xavier Woods or Patrick Peterson or Dalvin Tomlinson. Like, somebody on the defensive side has to go.
I'm going to tell you right now, if I was Spielman, I would have told Mike Zimmer, Michael Pierce is going to be really good. He is a force. He is coming back. We're not signing Tomlinson too.
We'll get Sheldon.
Yeah,
But
I mean, right? You. But I mean, so Sheldon and Peterson and that group. See, I think we get confused. We talk about these guys like they were all acquired as free agents in the same bin, but they weren't. The Tomlinson signing came from the A bin. Like, you went to the nicest store, the nicest restaurant, okay? And you're like, I'm getting a Tomlinson. And your wife's like, that costs a lot. Can we afford the Tomlinson?
And actually, what's funny is you actually went down that menu first, and you were like, oh, we should get the Lawson. And she's like, that's too expensive.
Yes.
Oh, what about the
Hendrickson?
There's another one. Yeah. What?
Troy Hendrickson.
No, that's too expensive too. Oh, what about the Toonie? Toonie. The Ahi Toonie. It looks really good.
The Ahi Toonie's real good. And then 3 weeks after that, you went to get lunch at the drive-thru and said, "Give me a Peterson. I'll take a Peterson. I'll take
a Xavier Woods,
a Richardson. I'll take a Xavier Woods." Yeah. And your wife's like, "Oh, that's great. You brought home lunch," and she never asks you how much it costs because you didn't spend that much on it.
Or what the other guys are bringing their wives for lunch.
Yeah,
the
but I mean,
Toonie.
she's like, yeah, but no, she's like,
is that Dede Westbrook still on the value menu? Can I get a side of that as well?
Yeah, I'll take a large Westbrook. I'll take a side of Woods, and I'll take a. I'm sorry, sir. The Peterson's a day old. Do you want to take a chance on that one? Yeah. What the hell? I'll take that too.
I ate some grocery store sushi last night, and nice. So far so good. So far,
okay.
So far so good.
Yeah, grocery store.
Sometimes like toward the end of the day though, like it's been sitting there for a few hours, and be careful.
My line there on sushi is the convenience store stuff. Like the
gas stations?
The gas station. No. Yeah. I won't do that, but I'm fine with it. But anyway, so Riley Reef could have been retained. And they chose not to. And I'm just saying that with Darisaw not being back, and Hill should be on this roster, and he is a valuable swing tackle backup, but that's his role.
Yeah.
So, and it's just a chance, but there is a very good conversation to have when it comes to Cousins about the expectation of off-schedule plays, because they're going to happen a lot.
Yep. Vikings fans, the Minnesota Lottery is offering some really fun stuff this season. So they have a $5 game, Viking scratch-off game, where you can win up to $100,000. Also comes in a cool holographic design. And then there's a $2 Skull game that can win you up to $15,000, also with great second chance prizes like Vikings tickets and merchandise. So get pumped. It's game time with the new Vikings scratch games. You must be 18 or older to play, but if you're game for a little excitement, just say, I'm in to Vikings scratch games from the Minnesota Lottery. We're going to get to the random Viking of the week in a second here, but also this weekend, actually it's already started, but there's events going on all week at Brainerd International Raceway. 4 days of heart-pounding, lightning-fast, up to 330-mile-per-hour drag racing. Just ridiculous fun. NHRA Lucas Oil Nationals at Brainerd International Raceway. You can find out more about ticket and camping packages at BIRMN.com. Kids 12 and under get in free. You can get autographs and whatnot. Just stand off to the side. Just get out of the way. You don't want one of those 330 miles.
No.
Enjoy the speed. Don't involve yourself in said speed. Hey, last thing too. and we are doing this edition of Purple Daily at approximately 11:30 on Thursday. Griffin worked out for the Vikings on Wednesday. We still don't know if he's going to sign, though. So if people are like, why aren't you talking about Everson Griffin coming back?
No, we don't know.
We don't know.
Well, we did yesterday, but we don't know if he's
right. And he definitely was there. But this could be a process too. So I'm just saying that I wouldn't look for him to be playing, for instance, against the Colts on Saturday.
Yep. All right, boys, it's time where I pit you guys against each other here in the random Viking of the Week
I love this
contest.
graphic. It's so good.
That's my own personal graphic design capabilities right there. We do have a full graphics department, but they're bombarded with a million things, and so sometimes Declan and I make our own great graphics.
I'm not passing judgment. I just like it.
They love when we do that.
It looks like an old school football, like Atari game from the 70s or 80s.
I think that our graphics department, which is like they do all kinds, they run like company social media and stuff across. And I think they get mad when we just do our own like stick figure stuff because it like, drags their name through the mud.
Give me the stick figure.
We didn't create that. All right.
Yeah.
So we've had Tavares Jackson. We've had Kelly Campbell. We've had Leroy Horde. I'm going to throw out different clues. You guys each get 3 incorrect guesses before you are eliminated.
All right.
And you can just guess whenever you want. I'm going to keep throwing out clues. You can ask yes or no questions that I can then decide whether I want to answer or not. And you can play along at home. If you're watching on YouTube, Purple Daily YouTube, click the subscribe button. Or you can, if you're listening along, if you're listening in the car, just be careful. This former Viking, random Viking of the week, was a 5th-round draft pick. He played for 5 teams in his career when it was all said and done. But he played the most games with the Vikings. This random Viking of the week, his first and last name combined are only 4 syllables.
Is he a linebacker?
I'm not going to answer that. Yeah.
I'll take a guess. Aaron Henderson.
I believe that's the second time Declan has guessed Aaron Henderson in this game.
Okay. All right.
You should keep guessing him every week because
I will though, because eventually I'll hit it.
He would be ripe for a random Viking of the week. Okay. All right. This random Viking of the week never scored a touchdown.
Okay, so we're almost certainly talking an offensive player now. We know that.
I mean,
well, he would no, because if I said linebacker, you would have just said no.
I will say it's a little surprising to me that he never scored a touchdown. I'm just going to throw that out there.
But
a little surprising.
But didn't Phil say I'm not going to answer that?
Yeah.
So it could be still we don't have any idea. So
I mean, I guess you have your own logic. Yeah. I have my logic here. Okay.
Sports Dad here, so
right.
Parse things apart, Declan.
This random Viking of the week.
Yeah.
Is 6 feet, 246 pounds. That's what he was listed at.
He never scored a touchdown, though.
This random Viking.
Yeah.
No, go ahead. No, by all
means. No. I was about to guess, but it wouldn't be right because
he's too afraid. Keep going.
Because you said he didn't score a touchdown.
Okay.
No, I was about to guess a guy that scored a touchdown, so that would make no sense.
This random Viking of the week, the work that he does on the football field oftentimes goes unnoticed, but it's very important work.
5th-round pick. Okay, it's an offensive player. It is somebody that blocks, and it's a skill. It's a slight skill, at least a slight skill position guy. Because if he works hard, it means he blocks.
I will say this random Viking of the week was an offensive player.
Yeah. It's damn, it might be a fullback. Okay, keep going.
Declan, do you have any questions or thoughts?
No.
This random Viking of the week played for both Leslie Frazier and Mike Zimmer.
Fifth-round pick. Offensive player.
This random Viking of the week was actually not born in the United States. The place where this random Viking of the week went to college, the name of the college, is also the last name of a former regular Mackey and Judd radio contributor.
Wait, say that question again.
I said, this random Viking of the week where he played college football, the name of his school was also the last name of a former Mackey and Judd radio contributor. This random Viking of the week wore number 42 with the Vikings.
Jerome Felton.
There it is. Judd's, and my next clue was going to be, and was a friend of the show, which he was. Jerome Felton, congratulations, Judd Zolgad. Unheralded, 3 years. He was one of the lead blockers sometimes. Right. Peterson didn't like I formation, but in 2012, when Peterson ran for 2,000 yards.
I think Tahi pissed off Peterson more than... I think he didn't like Tahi more than he actually didn't like fullbacks.
Yeah. By the way, the college that Jerome Felton played at was Furman College. Our buddy Todd Furman, who's blown up as a gambling.
Todd Furman is now a legit star. Good for him.
We launched Todd Furman into the stratosphere, baby.
So what is the score now between me and Dex?
So I believe Judd is up 3-1 on
Dex
Declan
won the first
here.
One. Tavares for sure.
Because you've gotten Kelly Campbell, Leroy Horde, and Jerome Felton now. So Dex
will
get one for sure.
Jerome Felton.
When I give you Aaron Henderson, you'll definitely get that one.
No, what'll happen is Judd
I will
get
disguise Aaron Henderson so aggressively, though, that Judd will get it.
This player was once confused for his brother by Sid Hartman in the Vikings locker room.
Okay, Aaron. Sid, who was the, so the Vikings had Phil Lodeholt, and then who was the other Oklahoma lineman that they had for a minute?
I don't remember.
I think it was a white player, and Sid Hartman literally went up to one or the other and like confused one for the other. It's like, how do you confuse Phil Lodeholt for anybody?
4 years old. He once was talking to Aaron, and he thought he was talking to EJ, and I think Aaron played along and just gave answers.
Classic.
I love it.
Him. Good sport.
Amazing. Shout out to PXG Minneapolis too. So I know there's a lot of golfers out there who are also Vikings fans. And if you haven't been to PXG Minneapolis in Southdale Center, you got to check it out. It's a golfer's paradise. It's amazing. They got some of the best clubs on the market. The Gen 4 clubs. If you want something a little bit more priced within your reach, the 0 to 11 golf clubs. But this place is a mecca. They got amazing apparel clubs. So check them out here. You still got, by my calculation, you have at least 3 months left of golf season in the Twin Cities. People bail on golf in like October. October and November is when I ramp up the golf.
I think, city courses have to close by a certain date. I think that's required. I think like they have to be like cease operations by a date. But yeah, I think other places.
Early December golf. Nothing like it, man. Just wipe off the snow from the tee box.
Early December.
Get out there. So that's a wrap on today's episode, a special Kirk Cousins birthday edition of Purple Daily here, boys. The Doctor of Daggers.
I told you. Go enjoy a Surly, Kirk.
Drive.
Just, put that diet on hold because he's really thin now, too. I'm not sure. I feel like he's lost weight since he got here.
Needs to drink more beer, man. Needs to drink more Surly
Furious. Surly Furious for Kirk Cousins.
You gave us a chance at the end, but I got 3 words for you. You like that?